This is Practical Prince. We're doing Talk and Tarot. So go ahead and drop in your questions, ask well, what you want for your readings in the comments or the chat, whatever you've got. And we'll do as many readings as we can within the next couple hours. We should have the good sound working. Let me know if that's not the case. It's still finicky, but I've set it up and we'll leave it alone for the time being. Just a reminder, we're not going to be streaming on Friday, with that being Christmas Eve and whatnot. New Year's Eve, I probably will stream just because that's not as big of a deal to me, certainly not at that time of day for me. But yeah, I'll schedule that stuff after this session, or maybe now, if we've got enough time. We'll just see based off of who all joins. So, yeah. Just making sure we're all set up. And yeah, that's looking good. So, I'll just go ahead and shuffle some decks, get us ready for whoever shows up tonight. And we'll see. Lately, this session has been trending light. Not a whole lot of people, even though we've got a whole lot more time than the other session. So, we'll see. We might end early if that's still the case. But of course, if this is inconvenient, if neither of our sessions are good for you, you can always reach out. I'm on a number of social media platforms. You should be able to find me as Practical Prince, maybe Practical Principles, but I feel like the length on usernames didn't really permit that. So for the most part, it's the shorter Practical Prince. So that's probably good enough. We'll put that one away. And I got a couple new decks. They're very much twins. This is the sequels to the Destiny deck by Lisa Santine. It's the Lucine deck, or decks, I suppose I should say. I got both the Twilight and Midnight. We'll see if I take a preference for one over the other, because the art is the same. It's just the background and the card backs, stuff like that changes. So we'll see. Haven't really figured out what their specialty might be and whether or not they might be sitting out. Who knows? I would hate for them to become like the Sun and Moon deck, but it is possible, I suppose. It doesn't have quite the same feel as the Destiny deck, which I really do love. But we'll give it a go. And who knows? I happen to get tomorrow off of work. I was thinking of maybe going through social media posts and doing reads for people. Or maybe I'll just take some of the old ones and post those. I think I still technically need to post some more, but well, we'll see. We'll see what we have time for. And we'll see if it happens. Because there are some plans tomorrow. Not that many. But, time likes to get away from you. Yeah, I think think I'll go ahead and shuffle the new decks. Or I guess maybe I'll show some of them to you. So there's the back of the box, text on the inside. Here's our cover. This is for the midnight version of the Lucine deck. So there's our backs. Shiny sides, but then there's our front. A lot of good artwork in the major arcanas. And then, you know, the minor arcana aren't as complicated because they've got their themes. So they do get some art. So, all as it, oh, you guys can't really see that far over, can you? And I'm probably not spreading enough or giving you enough time to really see. But you've probably only seen the stag then. The Hermit, the Hanged Man. That one's similar to Destiny. Excuse me. Death. Always like to do some buffalo skulls. Now what is that? Moon. And then Sun. The World. Let's get some Seven of Wands. And then what do we have? Queen of Swords. And now time to shuffle. Oh, I guess real quick before that, we do have our bonus cards. So here we've got, oh, there we go. Awaken, depicting a snake, and the crescent moon. And then Transmute. So, woman spreading wings. But yeah. Time to mix it on up. Oh. Can I get the book? Yeah. We'll see if these can. Because that definitely did not fall together. Yeah. We'll just take them apart. Hope we didn't reverse any on accidentally. I suppose I could check, because the backs are not symmetrical. But yeah, we're looking good, I think. So we'll give it a good shuffle to finish it now. Hopefully. There we go. Okay, and then the other one, we've got the Twilight Edition. Didn't really want to come out. I have pulled it out though, so yeah, same artwork. We've just got cleaner fronts here, rainbow lines. I don't know what else we would call that, gilding maybe, and then the back cloudy and light. So yeah, we'll give that a shuffle, and then maybe I'll check to see what's going on with the deck box. because I might just need to tap it down a bit. There we go. I feel like I'm already starting to bend them one way. See if we can level that out a bit. Okay, I think we'll call that good. Yeah, I think it was just this edge. But yeah, that seems to... We've got that flat now. So. Okay. So now we wait. And maybe, just maybe, we'll do our first stream without a reading? I suppose it's possible, but it seems unlikely. Oh, we don't need to see my hands anymore. So, there we go. So yeah, I don't know. If this really isn't utilized that much, maybe I'll just set something up. I don't know. We could, because there's a few things you can do with tarot as far as like an offering a product to be callous about it. You can either do text-based, give me your question, here's your answer, these are the cards I drew. Or you can do schedule a session. You get this much time, and we'll work through stuff. And if you need more, we can charge more. If you need less, well, maybe you get a discount or something. I don't know. But, yeah. But then you could potentially ask multiple questions. And I know that's definitely a thing for some people where they've got one thing, need follow-up, or sometimes it's just different things, career and then also love. They're wanting specifics. So, yeah, could definitely go multiple ways. And I guess we could try both kinds. Really, I would just have to look into setting that up. But if we really did away with one of our regular sessions, then yeah, that might make sense. Because, I mean, the whole point of having the multiple sessions was to accommodate multiple time zones and whatnot, people around the world. But if we're not taking advantage of that, then yeah, might make sense to look into alternatives for people. So, yeah. And I know I used to kill time doing reads for myself, but I just do not have questions, really. Not ones that I need that sort of answer to. I mean, have I finished all my... Yeah, I finished all my shot. I might need to find a white elephant for somebody, but that's probably as close to a question as I have. Because everything else is pretty straightforward. I could look at spread machine stuff, but already working on other stuff. So it's going well. Yeah, go ahead and ask a question. Or multiples, I guess. But we'll start with one. hope you've been doing well. And is it all right if I refer to you as Sass? Because that's what your username says now. If I'm remembering right, it was Dragon Empress previously. So, and then I think you also had a Facebook account. But yeah, I don't remember what the name was for that. Okay. Glad you've been getting better. Okay. Anything in particular, or kind of an outline of when stuff is happening, or what's coming within 3 months, or okay. Well, I get because we could focus on figuring out when um, when stuff is going to happen, or we can just try looking at. I guess it would be similar, but we could like, is anything happening within the next 6 months, year? And if there's not, then like free reign to focus on other stuff, um, if that's desired, I guess. So more true love. Let's see. Um, yeah, sure. We'll give. I got a new deck from the same creator as the Destiny, so we'll be using that. This will actually be the first reading. Oh, and let me highlight that. Okay. Um, I mean, some people aren't really interested in a long-term thing. They just want something. I mean, that's yeah. You might have seen people like that in high school or well, puberty, I guess, where it's more important to have a relationship than to have a lasting relationship. So, you know, depends on the person, but yeah, I think the better question would be um, long term. So, okay, let me focus, and it is the win. I have to sort through that later. I'm not used to having a... I don't know if you can see, but there's a stack of them going on there. I'm used to tempered pairs where you've got one on another, but not exactly sure with that. Do we have anything else? All right, there's multiples, right? There's this one just thick. There we go. Very special. Maybe not. Not for this, at least. Yeah, let me check. That might be it. Okay. So then, what's going on with the stack? I guess we could spread it like that. Okay. So how to word that? I mean, these are spread out, but they're referring to that singular timing of when it's going to happen. These two are more, I guess you would say, trait oriented, describing that timing. This does as well, but this is also, how to put that? This seems more indicative. Uh, like this might be a signal, a sign that you could see, whereas these, I'm not sure that either they're just not as triggering. Or maybe they're present, but they're not necessarily the signal, so to speak. If that doesn't make sense, just let me know. But yeah, so aspects of the timing and then sign, signal, but still describing it as well. And that is 3 of Cups. Here we've got 10 of Swords. And there we've got the High Priestess. So 10 of Swords is pretty straightforward. I mean, there's an end of some sort. Whether that's like end of a job, you could say end of a previous relationship, but yeah, maybe a decent one you tried but didn't work out. Who knows? Something like that. But this is coming off of the end of something, maybe a move, and you're finishing with the old place, so to speak. Some sort of end in that regard. High Priestess is speaking to wisdom, inner wisdom. So as far as the aspect there, we've really thrown off worldly parts, physical material, and we've focused more inward. And that's not so much literal, I guess. It's more figurative. but that would also be applying to how you're thinking about your partner. Because, I mean, you'll definitely be taking a more inward approach with yourself, but you're also going to be focusing more on the core of the other person. So, um, so yeah, I don't know if that's been a struggle for you or what your tendencies have been when dealing with partners, but um, that'll be the focus there. Okay, that's good. Whether or not it's this in specific, in particular, but that is a good step. Um, Three of Cups. Let me go ahead. We'll use the Destiny guide for this since it's based from there. But since that's our signal, our sign, I want to dig into that. Okay. About joyful celebration. This is a time for indulgence, parties, reunions. There's an outpouring of love and emotional growth, strengthening your connection with others. This card reveals an emotional or physical healing. Make sure to spend time with people who raise your vibration and energy. 3 is a number that signifies creation, and this indicates a creative time and a positive moment to birth new goals and ideas. It is a time to let yourself shine. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, a holiday like this where you're probably getting together with people um, could definitely be indicative. That's only part of it, though. There's the more so emotional healing in this case. I don't really get the sense of the physical, but yeah. So that might not be speaking to now, could be. Because yeah, you'll have to judge for yourself where we're at with the High Priestess. I don't know if that's still something to come. And obviously, it couldn't. I mean, because that sort of celebration, like you've got holidays, you've got birthdays. It could also be something that you set up yourself with other people, um, whether it's a planned girls' trip or something like that. Um, it does have weight to it, so it's not off the cuff. Um, so spontaneous stuff, that's probably not going to fit the bill for that one. But yeah, so that's your sign signal. There's going to be a few events that match that, but nice. So you think that might be the sign that's coming together? And it could be. Yeah. I mean, in my mind, it's almost like that experience is going to be revelatory in a sense that you realize who it is that you'll be going with or going after. Um, I don't know if maybe that would be one of them introducing you. I sort of felt like it would be someone you knew already. Um, and that's just speculation at that point. That wasn't part of the tarot. Um, but yeah, yeah. Well, we're speculating at this point here. Let me go ahead and set this down. We can talk. So any okay. So it feels like you've got at least two of the three. Well, you've got a feel for two of the three. Do you have any sense of the High Priestess? Do you think that's already in place? And of course, any other spectators who have questions they'd like to ask, go ahead and drop them in the comments. We'll just do them once we're done chatting and going over this. Okay. So that almost feels like it, because that kind of feels like you're flipping the Three of Cups and the High Priestess. Because in that sense, the intuition is the sign. So, but maybe it's that you get that feeling about them, and then it's a while after when you're talking with your girls or something when it clicks and it's like, yeah, that's the one. In which case, yeah, that would be more in line with what we read. Well, it's good you know yourself. Yeah. I mean, definitely don't be someone you're not. And if that means that a prospect isn't panning out, then that's probably not the right prospect for you. Okay, well, yeah, we didn't really get a sense of how far off that was. We got more of a signs of the time, so yeah. Hey, Kara, how's it going? Um, if there is, it has your name on it, so go ahead and ask your question. Um, I just read for Sass. We're talking about it. Thank you. So yeah, go ahead and ask your question. I will read for it. If SAS has follow up, well, she'll comment. So thoughts and feelings. Yeah, we'll use the Destiny deck for this one. Oh, and let me highlight your question. Yep. It helps to be clear with your questions. So, Marcus, thoughts and feelings towards you. Okay. So, I don't know if it's a matter of waiting. We could try. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it didn't feel like giving us a specific time, then maybe it's just one of those ones where we need patience. Too much of a spoiler if we knew specifics, but yeah, thanks for following up. Wanted to make sure we were good there. Yeah, she is a good one. Nope, not those. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I do like this one. Has nice aesthetic. Okay. All right. So feelings. So is this thoughts? Hey, Anonymous. How's it going? And that was everything, right? Yeah. So thoughts, feelings. Let's find out. So we've got Queen of Swords on the feelings, and we've got Lovers for thoughts. So straightforward for the most part. I mean, obviously, this has that romantic element to this, but one of the big things about the Lovers is making a decision. So he's really weighing one way or the other. And then Queen of Swords. Yeah, so that one, how to best describe that? Because the Queen is powerful, and that has the effect of receiving awe. But then there's also the fear of confronting such a powerful person. So Yeah. Which kind of makes sense why we've got the decision going on with the lovers. Because it you're kind of intimidating is basically what we've got there. So yeah. She's not bad, but she's particular. So yeah, do you have any questions on that? I don't know that there's too much more to elaborate on. And anonymous, if you have a question, feel free to drop it in. Okay. Just want to make sure we're good. Felt brief, but it felt on point. So, and Kara or anybody else, if you've got more questions, feel free to ask those as well. So a cautious type. Yep. Yeah, that matches with what we're seeing. Yeah. Yeah, I could speculate on whether or not that'll work out well, but yeah, it's probably better if he figures something out and makes a move. Well, give it enough time, and something could happen. Well, you can give them opportunity. But yeah, it's like the horse. You can take it to water, but you can't make it drink. So yeah, time, time, and plenty of opportunity. Anonymous, if you don't feel like looking at future, we can do plenty of present stuff as well. Yeah, I know for some people the past can be quite the trouble. I feel like a number of people have come to terms with it though, or at least are happy to leave it as it is. But there's plenty of things about what we can do now that people wonder about. Some people will be like, what should I work on now? Um, what am I refusing to acknowledge or confront about myself? Stuff like that. And sometimes it's just, what could I do better? So, but yeah, if you'd rather not get a reading yourself, that's totally fine. Um, I don't really read for myself personally. I mean, I'm practice a Christian tradition. I'm communing with the spirit when I'm pulling these cards, but if I have my own questions, I'll just ask them myself to them. We can try. Um, ooh, looks like we're going to give the other deck a. Okay, Sarah, give me 1 sec to do this for Kara, and then we'll do yours. Wow, I already figured your deck, so. All good. All good, Anonymous. Okay. And this is probably going to come out yes, no. We've got a 3-card spread we tend to use. But we'll see what the cards come out as. Separate. Yeah. Multiple cards just gives us some granularity, some in between, in case it is more on the ambiguous side. Isn't it over there? Okay. I think that's it. Let me check. Yeah, I think it might just be these two. So then, yeah, I'm going to have to flip because sometimes it's the third card is unknown or it's based on someone's free agency, their choice. But in this sense, I'm really getting that it's these two are representative of your answer. So if it's a split, we'll see. Page of Wands and Strength. Let me double check Page. But I mean, Strength is promising. Having the courage. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm thinking of the Page of Swords, but I need the Page of Wands. Good news. I paid close attention to messages, emails, phone calls. Yeah. So, I mean, these would be saying yes. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that'll actually play out, given his personality and whatnot. But, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me know how that goes. Because there's not too often I get readings which are pretty clear cut. It's one way or the other. So it's always nice to know how that pans out. Sarah, let me go get. Well, yeah, and he might have been planning stuff given his personality. But here, let's get Sarah. Okay. Give these a little shuffle before they go away. And a general reading. Probably not this one. I think it Cosmo. Yep. Yeah. Sometimes they mix it up, but yeah. Yeah. It's the struggle of turning thoughts and plans into actions. Okay. It's general. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what we get. All right, definitely. We have more down here. No, back up. Or were we midway? Okay. All the more reason why he struggles, I'm sure. And I'm guessing other areas are a bit more predictable. People, less so. Oh, that one's upside down. I'm gonna fix those. I mean, sometimes I get reversed, but it's usually not by accident. um, yeah. Sarah, you might want more. If so, let me know. Because I feel like there's plenty of cards that are happy to follow up. But as far as what's important and needs to get out there, yeah, I think we're just focusing on these two. And yeah, so like, how to put it? Focus on this one because this is an action item, or rather something you can do something about. This seems more like FYI, heads up. Just so you know. 8 of Lotuses. The Pelican. This deck uses different names. 8 of Lotuses would normally be 8 of Cups. The Pelican, I'm pretty sure, would be the Emperor in a regular deck. But let me double check. Yeah, Emperor. 8 of Lotuses deals with moving on. It's not bad. There's not really a sadness to it. It's more an acknowledgement of what was and no longer is, and letting that go. So, and I mean, the way this deck depicts that, you've got the whale passing by underwater ruins. The ruins of something that once was magnificent, beautiful, but time to pass on. So, yes, it is pretty. And let me go ahead and read the Pelican. And again, this was the thing you could do something. This is the FYI. Not Prisma, Cosma. And where was that? I just found it. Structure, control, harshness. The Pelican essentially represents Spirit Plane Boot Camp. When it comes up in a reading, it can be a symbol of structure and control, but it can also represent rigidity and coldness. If so, there may be a need to confront your inner self. When you see the Pelican, ask yourself if you are avoiding something that needs confrontation in order to move on, or perhaps ask if you are being controlling about something that requires lightness. And again, this wasn't an action item for you, so I would focus on the symbol of structure and control. Can also represent rigidity and coldness. So, stuff to be aware of. But yeah, your main thing was 8 of Lotuses. So, yeah. The artist for this, well, 2 of the decks actually, they have a preference for birds. So, like, especially with this Cosmo deck, like the Empress, I want to say it, or no, that one's a woman. But the High Priestess, I want to say, is a swan. And then, like, they switched the whole swords suit into suit of birds, so all of that has birds in it. But yeah, anyways, go ahead and set this aside. But yeah, I do like the art in these decks, so. And again, Sarah, you might be coming back to watch this. Plenty of cards felt like they would be good for you to know, but not important enough to be included in the first read. So if you want to follow up and you catch me live, go ahead and ask. But if we're already done, you can reach out to me. I know Facebook has messaging. I don't know what other platforms do. It's just Practical Prince. How did I get into tarot? I made the mistake last year of getting onto Kickstarter. And that's when I saw tarot cards. And I was just drawn towards them. I mean, spiritually, I'm pretty religious. Like I go to church and whatnot. I already mentioned I'm Christian, so this stuff isn't the norm, at least for my particular beliefs. But I was drawn enough that I got some. This is the first deck that drew my attention. That's the back. Let me show the top. It's called The Lost Forest. And it was the second edition run. That's the first one I got off of Kickstarter. In fact, yeah, I think all my decks are Kickstarter decks. I don't need a shuffle. I'm just showing some cards. But yeah, so this one is possibly my favorite. Oh, and that's going off screen. Doom. Let's bring it down a touch. The Fool. Very lovely. But so this one was inspired by Jungian books, Jung's art, not art. I suppose you would say philosophy, his works. Thank you. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, just look at this art. I love it. You've already seen some of the Destiny deck. That was the second one I got. And then you saw Cosma with the Lotuses. That one has a sibling deck called Prisma Visions, which follows the more traditional naming of things. But yeah, similar art style. Kind of like, I tend to think of it like Van Gogh. There's probably a better way to phrase it, but thanks. And yeah, so let me go ahead and put these. Oh wait, no. Let me set that up. So yeah, and then I recently got we saw both the Twilight and Midnight versions of the Lucine deck, which are sequels, so to speak, of the Destiny deck. Before that, I got, I think you would call it an Oracle deck, but it's meant for shadow work, is what it's geared towards, working on improving yourself, self-improvement. So well, then you'd probably love the Prisma Visions. I can go ahead and pull that out. I think that's the only one we haven't. Gonna need that. I think that's the only one we haven't used yet. And I can show you guys. Yeah, the Oracle deck, and I got some expansions for it. It was called Spread Machine. I think they changed the name to Spread Weaver. Because it's for... The idea was that it would help organize, when used for tarot, it would help organize your spread. Give meaning to the positions of the cards and whatnot. So... Sure. We can try doing that. I'll show you this one first. So that was a bonus card from this deck. But there you can see more of the slide. More of the Van Gogh style. And there's the Fool. A bird, yet again. And then a few more. So yeah, that is Prisma Visions. And then he's got a gosh, I don't remember what it's called, but there's one just like this, but it's basically black and white with maybe a purple border or something. So, hey Kay, yes. Go ahead and ask your question. I do have a question from Kara, though. In fact, let me highlight that. Doom. Oh, thanks. You don't have to, um, but it is appreciated. Okay. Sorry. By that, I meant I see your question. I know that it's there, so we can do it. But for Kara, the shadow work. And we'll set that aside. But then these are the cards. So you would be a seeker, and you're wondering about bettering your connection. So, and yeah, we'll go through and see what sticks out. There's going to be, yeah, that one. Nope. Yeah, these are, I like these two. They don't necessarily have a focus or a subject in the art, but the colors are great. Yeah, if it's standing out, so. Huh, okay. Yeah, just so Kay knows, this will be different than your experience, but basically we're passing over these to figure out what's involved. Yeah. And then we'll go get the tarot cards and place them. And then, well, it lines up with the meaning based off of where it is. Further down. No, okay. I mean, that is one of the ways they suggest it. Just going through and see what stands out to you. And really, I'm basically just doing that on your behalf. It'd be interesting to see if you picked different things than me, but That one might not get used, but okay. And yeah, we might not use all of these, but they at least stood out enough on the first pass. So let's set that aside. So a couple processing, a success, a couple shadow works. There's yourself. And then connection. We don't really have one corresponding to the subject, so to speak, to Marcus in this case. It might have just been where I paused to look, but yeah, sometimes is that really standing out, or is that not important enough? So now, organizing. How is stuff connecting? Oh, we're getting a bit farther. Okay. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Well, yeah. This is potential. And I can read that for you when we get there. Where did these go? I don't know that we have a place for define. Do we have a spot for accept? And that's getting a bit far. Okay, we're going to slide release. That's the one you're not going to be able to see because now I'm in the way. But now you can see accept at least. All good. Okay. Yeah, I mean, sorry. Right now I'm just looking at the layout because sometimes that can be indicative in and of itself. I mean, you've got the responsibility shadow work here, and then accept next to it. It's not really connected to anything else, so I'll be curious how that plays out. I think most of the rest is pretty straightforward. Hey, Kelly. How's it going? I've got to find a deck. Yep. We're going to be using Lost Forest, which I feel like does get preference when dealing with shadow work and stuff like that. Yes, go ahead and ask your question. I'm reading for Kara now, and then I've also got one other. Let me remember his name. Kay. Yeah. But then I can definitely read your question as well. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and shuffle once and then get to it. And we might not fill all of these, but a good number of them we should be able to get cards for. Sorry, did I say he? I should know better. Most of my audience is female. Okay. First card goes to self. What? That was a fast find. No, potential. Okay. I'll double check, but pretty sure that was the better fit. Yeah, nickname isn't super indicative. I don't know that I really have wishes about my audience. I mean, I do occasionally get guys. I don't know if there's a reason I would prefer to have them. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's okay. Yep. I could. And I think I do tend towards that, but I don't know. I'd probably have to. Echo, stop. Don't know why she thought I was speaking to her. The issue with, yeah, I'd have to look at my usage of pronouns if I were really interested. This is going to be something. I'll find out later. But they can also be plural, so I don't know if that's as indicative when someone can't see who I'm pointing to or stuff like that. So. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So we got some, not all, and not all I would expect. I don't think we usually get stuff when it's the subject, the area, but yeah. You're not missing out on release. That's the one down here underneath me visually. We do have one for potential. There's nothing on you. Maybe I'll just slide. No. I don't want it to, because it's visually not as connected to these other things on the side. So let me just leave that. This one doesn't have a place because it's not filling one of these. Yeah, this would be more like advice or guidance. for you. It's not really, I mean, it's on topic with your question, but it's not fitting into one of these spots. So, yeah. So we'll go ahead and flip them, and then we'll go through the different areas as far as meaning. So over here, we've got Page of Fire, which would be Page of Wands. Up on Potential, we've got Queen of Earth, which would be Queen of Pentacles. 10 of Fire, again, 10 of Wands. 9 of Skies, so that would Accept. 4 of Oceans, or 4 of Cups, Chalices. And then our advice, guidance, the world. Okay. And I'll probably just end up going through those in that order. So would that be the Z, Zim, something like that? Sorry, let me focus on the reading. So limiting beliefs. And let me pull that card over. So focusing here. What are the negative assumptions or perceptions that limit and stop you from being the best version of yourself? What have you been conditioned to believe? And for that, we got Page of Fire. And this guide is pretty short, so let's just flip that open. So, unlimited potential, inspiration, discovery. And that's as far as limiting beliefs. So, yeah. The idea there is probably as far as becoming the best version of yourself, not everything that can make you better is outside of you. A good chunk of what you need is already with you. So, let me see if anything else stands out there. Yeah. Yeah, it would just be suggesting, yeah, I'm not going to say the same thing. Okay, moving on. Potential, and let me pull that up. What powers and opportunities are waiting to be explored, activated, and manifested? What is the trajectory of expansion? How will you choose to shine and grow? And for that, we've got Queen of Earth. Makes some sense. And for that, practicality, nurture, providing for a family. And I think you're already leaning into some of that. Some of the like practicality and nurture. I think some of that's going to come from dealing with Page of Fire. That idea of working with what you have. So I don't know that that's so much of an action item. You could definitely do something about the Page of Fire. But yeah. 10 of Fire, and that's on connection, relationship, love. So this area in general. So 10 of Wands is what that would normally be. Added responsibility, completion. So I think that makes sense. I mean, as far as completion goes, I think that's pretty straightforward. As far as added responsibility, I think we figure that out over time as we make our mistakes and realize how much it takes to actually have a working relationship and really care about someone. So yeah, you can stumble through that. You could pay attention or think about it, but yeah. That's enough awareness drawn to that. I'm all about that. Okay, on self-love. What can you do to accept yourself, acknowledge yourself, appreciate yourself, validate yourself, cultivate happiness within yourself, and grow into the best version of yourself? How do you extend love to your being? For this, we got Nine of Skies, which is going to be interesting because I'm pretty sure that's a destructive one. So, yeah. So fear, anxiety, nightmares. Yeah. That's interesting. So how are those going to connect? I mean, yeah, there's the obvious acknowledging, accepting um, that those fears exist, stuff like that. Um, that and maybe that's all there is to it. Um, those dark, scary things that we sometimes ignore. Maybe just facing them and saying, "Yeah, that's real." Yeah. Um, on to accept, to acknowledge, to recognize, to register as true, to validate, to affirm, to own. And for that, we got Four of Oceans, normally Four of Cups. Contemplation, apathy, reevaluation. So, yeah. Um, not so much the apathy as in not caring, more it's focusing on the step back, which is, I mean, sort of what we're doing now just by doing this, but um, taking a step back and looking at things, um, thinking about them and considering. Yeah. Well, and maybe that's along the lines of the Page of Fire, where you have stuff that you have more control and more in your power than you're giving yourself credit for. So, because I mean, it's normally not a bad thing. Um, the idea of following your heart, um, but there's the whole moderation in all things, not going too extreme. So, anyways, the world, and this was the advice. Um, but really, this one deals with, yeah, completion, wholeness, integration. So becoming more well-rounded, not necessarily with skills or anything like that, but balanced as a person, being able to accept reality and being still negotiating and working your way through it, uh, being able to cope well and rebound, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, overall, it seems like there are things you could do. Um, are any of these showstoppers in your life right now? Probably not. Um, are they there? Probably. Um, and so you could start addressing them now if you wanted. And I mean, I would recommend that you do. But Any questions? This is one of the bigger spreads. I don't want to take it down too soon. But I'll go ahead and find Kay's question. Hey, Norman. I just track the people as they comment. So go ahead and ask your question. There's probably 3 or 4 people on it right now. So as I get through them, eventually I'll get to you and your question, and you can either wait for it live or you can watch the recording afterwards. Either way is cool. As long as it's clear. I mean, if it's a confusing question, that's just rough all around. Let me go find Kay. Okay, excellent. Let me go ahead and clean it up. Okay. Did they talk about you? And I'll put those back where they belong later. But I'm going to need that space. Now, are we going to use the Lost Forest, or is this more... Yeah, this is more Prisma, I think. So... Because I mean, we could answer just the yes/no of whether, that's fun, of whether they talked about you, but it would probably be helpful to get some of the intention, and I think we get better odds of getting that with Prisma. You're welcome. Okay. Where is it? Is it both? Is that the third? No, that's a little further. Okay, then let's check. So I just, okay. We might get a little clarity from this one, but this is going to be our main one for extra information. I mean, the combination is going to give us a yes, no, a feel for that. But then that will have some more detail. I don't need to flip. Yeah. 7 of chalices, 2 of chalices, 3 of pentacles. Interesting. Okay. So yes, but nothing really conclusive or actionable, basically. 7 of chalices, the theme there is confusion, uncertainty, not knowing what's real, what's not, what way to go. So that's the main thing. So if you did come up, which you did, sorry, because these are positives. This is the only damper on this. Basically, the sense is the conversation started, but it didn't finish. So I don't know that there's really anything to worry about, given that it's still in progress, so to speak. And then Three of Pentacles, I mean, that's also known as the architect. It deals with planning and thinking of the future. But I mean, where we've got this overwhelming don't know, that uncertainty, I don't know that you've really got anything to act on. So I wouldn't worry about anything for now. All right. And we had Kelly. Does Kevin care for me? Oh, and we had Chally. I feel like I missed so many people. If you didn't get the memo, go ahead and ask your question. I'll get to it at some point. But Chally, I am doing well. Hope you're doing well too. So yeah, Chally, Norman, they may have bounced because I was probably too focused on the other one. But yeah, if you've got questions, go ahead and ask them. Does Kevin care for me? Let's find out. But it's not going to be from this deck. Let's see. Kind of indicative already, but yeah. We'll be using the Midnight Edition of Lucine. Oh. Okay. And you already saw an example of our typical yes, no, 3 cards. So let's see. We've got more here. closed. Let me check. Okay. Okay. Yeah, normally there would be a third card, but I don't think we're going to need it. So that's death. And this is what? 5 of Wands. Tempered by Temperance. And by tempering, you probably don't know. I mean that this card is the main gist. That's the main theme. But then the card behind it, this tempering card, modifies it in some way. So, to be quick, no. That would be the answer. Death, normally that would speak to a transformation, a change, an old you versus a new you sort of thing. But I mean, as far as speaking to yes, no, yeah, that's a no. 5 of Wands, that speaks to competition, conflict. Or wait, let me check. There's a better way to put that. Because competition is probably too strong. Debate, conflict would be okay. It's just not necessarily violent or aggressive. But there's definitely that tension, butting of heads for sure. So that also speaks to no. So as far as your question, does he care? No. We've got Temperance moderating this. So really that just takes an edge off, but it doesn't change that. Overall, it's a no. So, and that's probably all you're really interested in. I don't know that there's, yeah. I'm dwelling on the death, seeing if I can understand the change, transformation. But by the time I understand that, we're way beyond the no. So that's the short of it. If you really want me to focus on that and figure it out, let me know. But I think we're good enough. And let me see. I think we may be caught up at this point. Yeah, apart from Challies, how are you? I'm good. It's been fun reading for people. Sorry if I've been ignoring you while I've been doing that. Okay. Got real quiet. So I don't know if I scared people off or if I just took too long, but I should pop my thing. We can accept questions again because we're all caught up. But it has been a good while. We're getting closer to 2 hours. A lot closer than we were when it was just me monologuing. So we might call it good. I'll wait a little bit, but this has been good. I was a little concerned that... Hey, Coyote. How's it going? I was a little concerned my new decks wouldn't see much action, but they've been having fun. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask. I'm all caught up, so there's not a line or a list. So feel free to ask, or we can just chat. We have options. Oh, I need to put this with its deck. I got 2. So, and let me go ahead and show. So, they're both Lucine, is the name of it. Let me center that a bit more. Sure. This is the Midnight Edition, and then this is the Twilight Edition. So, color is a little different. The main artwork is the same. But, yeah. Got these a little earlier this week, so that's been fun. Yep. Yeah, their maker... I got the first deck by that maker, which is this, the Destiny deck, which I've really loved. So went ahead and got their new stuff too. And if my collection keeps growing, I might actually need a storage solution for tarot cards or something. Or tarot decks, I guess. Hope your day's been good. Hope you're ready for the holidays. Yeah, it's already got plenty of books. And I'm sure there's more that we haven't put there. So, yeah. It'd be nice to have it right there and accessible. Although, then I'd have to keep turning around. So, yeah. And then you'll be ready? Excellent. That doesn't sound like too much. I think I've got to wrap one more present, maybe 2. But that shouldn't be too bad. I'm just bouncing over here, jiving. It's a little interesting. Because, I mean, I talk like normal, but then you guys have to type out your stuff, and then it has to get to me. So, and then, of course, if you're reacting differently than that, then I just don't know sometimes. So if you have a question, want a reading, more than happy to do that for you. We can also just chat. How will it go? Looks like Cosmo's going to answer that. As far as... let me go ahead and highlight that. But I'll speak to Anonymous's question while I'm doing this. I mean, it depends on what you mean by a tarot reading. And then it would depend on what you believe as far as reality goes. Because, I mean, as far as just flipping cards and interpreting them, that in and of itself is something something anybody could do. So in that sense, a gift isn't strictly required. But if you're trying to get answers of some sort, then presumably you have some sort of gift, but that doesn't mean that it's unique and only a few people have it. Like, as far as my own faith goes, like, I follow a Christian tradition, and I'm just using the Spirit when I do this. And as far as my beliefs go, that means anybody theoretically could have that same connection with the Spirit and do readings. Other people will believe different things, so I don't know if there's really an authoritative answer to your question. Really, it'll depend on how you believe the world operates. And then that'll indicate, really, who can or can't. Sorry, I've been shuffling too much, Coyote. Let me answer your question. How will it go? Doom-ba-doom. Maybe? Yeah, we do want that one. Do you want that one too? Not quite. It's a good card, but maybe not for this. Do we have more there? Let's see. I think that might be it, but let me check. Yeah, so it'll start out this way. And that might even be like a whole day, maybe partly into the second. This is the middling part. I'm not really getting a sense of how it ends, but I think it'll just naturally dissipate, so not too worried about missing out on that. 2 of birds, 7 of birds. And for this deck, so this deck uses different names, but birds corresponds to the sword suit. So this would normally be 2 of swords, 7 of swords. The Seven of Swords, the Seven of Birds isn't that bad. I'll go ahead and read that one for you. Two of Birds. How best to put that? Numbing. There's repetition, and it's old and worn out, and really not needed, but still continuing on. So that's, I don't know, some traditions that are past their prime, probably. But Seven of Birds, that's going to be the bigger one here. Obstacle, tactics, strategy. Only the brave would dare to cross this treacherous terrain. When this card shows up, it is a placeholder for a strategy you must soon devise. Some rocky roads may be approaching, and it is ill-advised to approach haphazardly. Instead, you will need to learn from the birds in order to plan accordingly. Do so, and you will make it to the other side with much ease. A carefully thought-out maneuver will catapult you much further than approaching with haste. So, yeah. So a normal Seven of Swords, the theme would be betrayal, deception, stabbed in the back. Bleh. This one's a lot softer, and it suggests that you have a way of getting out of dodge if it's important. Overcoming or bypassing, really, is probably the better way to phrase that. Whatever hardships or obstacles you'll be confronting. And it feels like you've already got that foresight that you can see what's coming. So, yeah, go ahead and put together your plan for sure. But yeah. Normally in other decks, these would be heavier and more negative. For me, in this deck, these are pretty neutral. So I don't think it'll necessarily be a bad experience. Might not be that positive, but it's not going to be that bad either, assuming you plan well. So sounds like you're breaking even, and I don't know, that might be a pretty good deal. Yeah, got some time to prepare. Just catching up on your comment, Anonymous. Okay. Do we have... I think we're caught up on questions. So we'll give people like, I don't know, 30 seconds to ask if they've got anything else. But otherwise, I think we'll call that good. Because, yeah. Well, we have been on for a couple hours. And I have done long streams before, but it's not a good practice. So, gotta take care of yourself. Let me go ahead and switch the caption. You too, Coyote. Take care and good luck. Reminder, we're not going to stream on Friday. I'm taking that off with Christmas Eve. But next week, definitely Wednesday, probably Friday, even though that's New Year's Eve. For me, that's early morning. So I think I'll still be working that day, so it'll still be a short stream. But we'll have it. Yeah. We'll call that good. Hope you're all doing great. Enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and whatever else. I think that already happened, but Diwali did. I guess I don't know about Hanukkah, but yeah. Hope it goes well. Hope it goes great. And until next time, take care.